Do you remember hitting her?
No, Mike, I want them. Give them to me now.
Dad, what happened? What the hell did you do? Get out!
Mike. You know what the girl's injuries are? How much of the last couple of months do you remember? Do you remember fighting Teddy Hendricks?
I wrote my first screenplay 10 years ago, and it placed pretty well in Project Greenlight, which was Matt Damon, Ben Affleck's project. And it did really well, and I enjoyed it. And so the next step was, well, what do I do with this screenplay now? You know, well, now you want to try and sell your screenplays. You want to try and sell your spec script. So I went out and, you know, I was looking for opportunities for that, entered contests, did a lot of that, and I started looking at filmmaking itself and thinking, well, maybe I just want to, you know, maybe I actually want to make the movie itself. Maybe I want to have a hand in actually telling the story, you know, on film and visually. After I did a table reading for my screenplay, The Third Period, John Newkirk approached me and said, maybe we should consider, you know, making this film. And I said, well, that would be great. And we had started talking to Sasha Levinson, who is a director in New York, and started talking to her about directing it. And she had another project come along, and I said, you know what? How about I direct, and could you support me in that? Could you just talk me through it a little bit and just kind of help me with the next steps? And she said, sure, I think that sounds like a great idea. And so that was it. So the story of Mike Olsky is essentially about an aging hockey star who becomes addicted to pain meds after an injury, and after, you know, a few terrible things happen to him, he has to basically pick himself back up off the floor, face his demons, and then sort of move on and move forward into glory and into accomplishing the goals that he wants to. We made the short because initially I had written a feature-length screenplay called The Third Period, but they always say the best way to get your work out there and get investors interested in making your movie and providing you the money to make the movie is they want to see what you can do. And so it made sense for us to create a short film that was based on The Third Period so that people could see that this was a movie worth investing in, it was a movie worth making, and so that's kind of where we started. I mean, we only had 2 days to get this done, and that meant that every single minute counted. So there was not a lot of room that we incorporated in for error. And our cast and crew was just incredible. I mean, shooting in a rink, I think, is one of the first things that people say, that could not have been easy, and it wasn't. Our lead actor, Aaron Massey, the guy has never been on skates before. So, you know, we were working on a very, very short timeline. So it was like, hey, Aaron, you have 2 weeks to figure out how to like skate onto the ice, stand up, and, you know, swing and look pretty good doing it. And so that was challenging. Yeah, being a female filmmaker or writer in general is it's challenging. It's because you do run into a boys' club, but what you can do, sort of as a female filmmaker, is you just don't have to take it. I guess that's the biggest thing I can say is that if being a filmmaker is what you want to do, male or female, then you have to go after it with passion and energy, and you have to go out there and fight to be able to do what you want to do. I didn't have any issues on the set of Olsky being the director on that set. I didn't have any attitude like, oh, you're a woman, you don't know what you're talking about. But I do feel that boys' club mentality a lot. But I think the thing of it is you know, it's 2 parts. for women to be female filmmakers and to get into the field and kind of go out there and do it, number one, they have to be invited to the table. So I think that, people out there, men who are in charge of all the different groups and all the different things that are happening in filmmaking, they first, number one, need to look around them and say, who is sitting at this table, and are women and minorities, are they represented? So number one, they have to challenge themselves to make sure that women and minorities are included. But the second part to that is women have to challenge people to bring them to the table. Women and minorities can't just sit back and think, well, you owe me an invitation to the table. Well, that's not exactly true. You have to go out and you have to earn it just like everybody else has to earn it. I didn't wait for somebody to say, hey, you should be a filmmaker. I said, you know what? I want to do this. I want to make this film, and I did it. So I would say that the first thing is that you really have to believe in yourself and have a vision for what you're doing and stick to that vision. A lot of people will try and sway you, or they'll, not in a bad way. I mean, everybody wants, what's best, but ultimately you have to believe in what you're doing enough that you go out there and you pursue it heavily, because you're going to be with this thing for a very long time, especially if you enter festivals and you get accepted onto film festival circuit. You're going to be with this piece that you've made for a long time. So you better believe in it, have a passion for it, and really hold tight to the vision that you had for it initially, and just stay strong in that.